Welcome to the Kenny Pickett Show on Panther-Lair.com, presented by WellHive. I'm Chris Peak from Panther-Lair.com. He's Kenny Pickett from Pitt Football. And Kenny, we were kind of joking there before we got started. I wondered what it would be like when we did our first show after a loss. I knew it was going to happen at some point. I don't know if I necessarily thought it would happen this week, but here we are. And, I appreciate you still not backing out and saying, you know what, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to have a conversation right now. But I mean, we're sitting here, we're taping this early in the week. It's a couple of days removed from that game on Saturday. We talked to Pat Narduzzi on Monday, and he kind of talked about the mood of the team. What have you seen out of the locker room, yourself, your teammates, coming out of the game on Saturday night, going through Sunday, and then coming into this week now?
Yeah, well, I mean, you kind of treat, you got to try and treat the wins and losses the same with the 24-hour rule, right? So obviously, wins, you feel a lot better than losses. But if you have a big win, you got to put it behind you. You get beat the next week like we just did. So, obviously we didn't go into the game with the right mindset. We weren't ready to play. You tip your cap to Western Michigan. They came in ready. They had a great plan, and, they executed better than us.
You talk about mindset going into a game, and I mean, Coach Narduzzi talked about that as well. Is that something you recognize in retrospect, or is that something you kind of see as it's going? You guys go through the first quarter, first half or so, and you say, wait, we weren't ready for this the way we needed to be.
Yeah, it's a tough thing. I think, I honestly, watching the film from practice this week, I thought we had a really, really good week of practice. Just from the offense coming in, building off of last week, have more confidence. And I think you saw that as we went out there and played. It just didn't go our way, and it happens, and we have to learn from it, from the best we can and put it behind us and move on. It's a long season.
That's another thing Coach Narduzzi often says. He talks about how the week of practice it was. Is there any time you can think of over the past few years where you went into a game and you're like, man, we just had a terrible week of practice? Is there any time? Is there? I mean, there are some times when you can think of where that was the case.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's been plenty of times where, I feel like we didn't come with energy for practice. I feel like we weren't focused. And that really wasn't the case this week. I thought, we had a lot of, focus and attention to detail the game plan and what Coach Whip wanted to do. And we all had a pretty good idea of what we wanted to do and go out there and execute. And I thought we did, but we left some plays out there, and at the end of the day, it cost us.
You're old enough, you're smart enough to know you go into any game, either team can win. I mean, it's, ball bounces different ways. What was the point on Saturday where it really hit you of, holy cow, we're in trouble here. We're in real danger of losing this game? Was there a point where it really clicked like that?
When they kept the ball in that last 4 minutes, that was, that really was it. There was not a doubt in my mind if we got the ball back that we were going to go down and score. The whole entire game, I thought we were going to win. And, I have that mindset every time I step on the field. So, I feel like the whole team did too. There was just, at the end of the day, they went out there and executed, and we didn't.
I think coaches always go into a week after a loss, and it was certainly Pat Narduzzi's tone during his Monday press conference that you're disappointed, but you have to avoid panicking, right? I mean, the key is to not panic or overreact to a win or a loss, kind of like you said. How important is that, and how can you, as a senior leader and the other seniors on the team, kind of help make sure nobody panics or overreacts to this loss?
Yeah, I mean, it's very important, and I think you don't want to panic and overreact, but you also have to address the things that need to be fixed. And I think we did that early, Sunday, Monday now, getting the game plan today. We're moving on, and we're focused on New Hampshire. But obviously the things that need to get fixed were addressed on Sunday. And, now we'll have 3 days of practice to go out there and iron them out before we go out there on Saturday.
After the first two games, we did the best thing and the thing you need to improve on the most. And I guess we should do it now, even though it sort of feels a little different after a loss. I know even after the game, you weren't really too interested in talking about good things coming out of that one. But what do you feel like was the best thing you guys did on offense on Saturday? And what's the thing you maybe need to improve on the most coming out of that one?
Yeah, I mean, best thing, obviously, explosive plays, getting in the end zone, putting up 41 points, scoring explosive touchdowns was something that we worked on, and we went out there and I thought we really executed well in that area. And obviously turnovers. Myself, I had a pick and the fumble. I take that on myself. I can't do that and put our defense and our team in bad scenarios. So that's something I'm definitely going to focus on cleaning up this week.
You mentioned the fumble. That was the play when you came out. Did somebody land on you? Did you land on the ball, or what?
No, it was just the way my arm was stretched out, the way I landed, and someone landed on top of me. So I just tweaked my shoulder a bit. We got it checked out. We're all good. So all healthy. And, just a little bit of soreness, but I'll be good to go for Saturday.
Certainly, I know it's like we just said, it's kind of hard to take positives out of a loss, but Jordan and Lucas, I mean, those guys, 5 touchdowns between them. I mean, it seems like there's something really working there. Are those guys both, I mean, you've been with them for 2 years now. Are they both sort of playing at that level that you've expected out of them for the last 2 years?
Absolutely. And I think that the good thing about Jordan is that first series we had a seam ball that he wished he had back, and he came right to me on the sideline and said, he wanted the next series. We went right to him, and he had that big touchdown. So he's that kind of player. He's explosive. He's very, very talented. He works hard. Have all the trust in the world. And then obviously Lucas has been great for us in the red zone and over the middle of the field, and he's been doing great things. He's doing exactly what we would expect him to do, and he's blocking well in the run game as well. So he's kind of putting it all together.
We talk about his size and how he can run, but that second touchdown he caught, I mean, he had to go low for that thing and then do a little somersault or acrobatics into the end zone.
Yeah, man. I mean, he's got the size, but he's also, really athletic. But I think, not a lot of people can give him credit for, but I think down the road here when he tests and, all that stuff in March, he's gonna show a lot of people how athletic he is for his size.
Now, moving on to New Hampshire, they're 3-0 at this point. I think they've only given up about 16 points per game, maybe given up 6 touchdowns, I want to say, through the first 3 games. And what are they doing so well on defense? It's been, helped them or allowed them to shut down the teams they've faced so far.
I think they stopped the run well and they caused turnovers. Their DBs have good ball skills. They have some veteran guys back there. 33 is a player who plays in coverage well, and he comes down on the run, and he's kind of their boundary safety guy. They roll down a little bit. He makes a lot of good plays. Their corners are long and athletic. So I think they really do a really good job of turning the ball over and making teams drive on them and not giving up the big plays.
Is there any, I mean, there was a lot has been made about the time of possession in that game on Saturday, 40-20 in advantage, in Western Michigan's advantage. And there's a lot that goes into that. I mean, defense and offense both have their parts. What did you guys take away from that on offense, the time of possession discrepancy?
Yeah, I mean, I think, sorry. My back. Sorry about that. I think the thing about that is it just goes like in a complementary football, like offense working with the defense working with the offense. I don't think we did that well enough, obviously, to go out there and win. It's something we need to improve on. I think we did a really good job of being explosive on offense and putting points up on the board, but there was times we went 3 and out too many times, and we didn't drive the ball and maintain possession for as long as we'd like. But at the end of the day, we want to put up points. And that's the main goal of the job. We wanted 50 that game. We didn't get it. The goal is 50 every single week. So we have our sights set on that.
50 is a good target, I would think. All right, let's get to some of the questions that the Pitt fans are asking. And usually I like to say who asked the question, but can't find that now. So I'm just going to have to ask you the question straight off. First question, hardest part of keeping everyone together and bouncing back from tough losses like this. And I would add kind of, which I think you've probably dealt with in the past, an offense, defense, when one side, the defense is giving up 44 points. What do you do to make sure there's no kind of splits or anything like that, among the team between the two units? Yeah,
I mean, the thing, and listen, I've been on, I played plenty of games here where the offense hasn't put up points in the defense and shut them out. And we've ended up losing. They shut down the other team. We ended up losing because the offense didn't put up points on the board. So I've been on both sides of this. I think the biggest thing is ownership, right? And everyone, really owned up to what they didn't do, what they did wrong. And honestly, it's the 24-hour rule. You got that Sunday to figure it out, make the corrections, and you move on. I think if everyone stays positive, and we all know there's a long season with all of our goals still in our sights, so. I think the league's wide open this year, so we're going to go out there and play every game as hard as we can, and I think we'll be all right.
That's next question. Actually, you mentioned about the ACC. Somebody asked, with all the obligations you have during the season, are you able to watch college or NFL football? And specifically, do you watch other ACC games when you can?
Yeah, I try to watch as much football as I can when I'm not worried about our team and my preparation and watching film and everything. But if there's like a Thursday night, Friday night game that I can watch, I absolutely watch it. I love watching other teams and really watching, the offense and the defenses and just seeing how, those teams are looking. And I'm a fan of football, so I like watching.
Did you watch any games on Saturday night after you got back from Heinz Field?
Yeah. Watched the Penn State game. Thought that was a great game. Saw a little bit of Arizona State, BYU. Watched a little Florida, Alabama. So I try to flip around and catch a lot of teams.
Nice. And what about, do you watch NFL as well? You trying to keep
that? Yeah. I was watching that before we got on the call right now. Trying to flip between, Peyton and Eli, and then going back to the Monday night with Louis Riddick. So I think, both stations do a really good job.
Mm-hmm. All right, next question. There's been a lot of talk about RPOs over the last, all the time, but certainly over the last 2 days after that game on Saturday. From a quarterback's perspective, what do you see? How do the RPOs challenge the defense so much? How do they put so much pressure on the defense? And it seems like you guys do it from time to time. How much of your offense do you feel like, or how much do you feel like you have in the offense of those kinds of plays?
Yeah, we have it. I think the great thing about our system is we have a lot of different, pieces from a lot of systems. I think Coach Whip does a really good job of going out and watching film in the off season and pulling together the things that he likes to implement into our offense. And then we'll tailor it to us, and we'll go put it in there, install it, and then see how it works for us. What was the first part of your question? How is it for a quarterback?
Yeah, from your perspective, from a quarterback's perspective, what kind of pressure does it put on the defense when you guys run a play like that?
Yeah, it puts a lot of pressure on the defense. For those who don't really know, like the RPO, so as a quarterback, you're reading the linebackers, and linebackers' job is to run fit first. So when he sees ball action, he's going to fly up into his gap, and what that does is it puts the safety in a bind. So if your safety's playing at 10 yards deep, and he's got to worry about the receiver going vertical, post, corner. He's got to worry about slant. He's got to worry about out. So there's a lot of things that he's got to worry about defending. So when it puts those guys in a bind like that, it's really, really hard for them to cover, all those different styles of routes. So, it's a good thing to do, but at the end of the day, it's a little tough when, defenses blitz, and as a quarterback, if they blitz on the snap and they take off through the hole and you don't recognize it, there's no protection really, because the offensive line is run blocking, so there's no one picking that guy up, right? So there's a chance that you could get hit on that, and it could cause problems. But I think it's a good part of an offense to have.
All right. Next question. How does the team handle the highs and lows week to week? In the span of 7 days, the Pitt went from beating an SEC team and a potential ACC Coastal champs to, a team that loses to a MAC team. So, over the years, fans have seen this kind of things, but, for players, what's that kind of process like of sort of moving from week to week? Is there airing of grievances? Does everybody just sort of put it aside, not talk about it, and hit practice on Monday like nothing happened? What's kind of the overall approach, I guess?
Yeah, we have to, like I said before, you have to address the things that went wrong, right? There's no way to improve. There's no way to have growth if you don't address the areas that you need to improve on. But I'm like I said before, I'm big on the 24-hour rule. No matter what, after a win or loss, you got 24 hours to either enjoy it, look at what you need to fix it, and then you got to move on. It's too long of a season. You played too many really, really good teams to be hanging on a week prior or looking ahead. So I think that's the best way to handle it. It's 1 week at a time. It's a crazy season, and you said potential, coastal champs. I didn't think that was an ACC team we played this weekend. So we have all of our goals still ahead of us, and we know that's there for us to go get. So that's what we're planning on doing.
I was just reading the question.
No, I got you.
Nice. All right. Last question from one of the fans on Panther-Lair.com says, I would love to know what the biggest difference is between last year and this year. Last year, thought maybe you might be like a fifth rounder or somewhere like that. All of a sudden you're playing like a first or second day pick. In 3 games, Kenny has 3 touchdowns short of his record for a full season. Is there something you would specifically put your finger on as far as the biggest difference from last year to this year?
I would say, my growth is really tied in with the offense as a whole. As Coach Whipple came in and implemented his system, and, we got some really good players in here, and, no man can win or lose a game by himself. And a quarterback needs, people around him to be successful. He needs to be put in a system. And I think I have a lot of credit to my teammates and the work that they've done and the work that we all put in together. That we're kind of all striving right now. We're all making plays, and, things are going well for us offensively. We're starting to click. So that's something we just want to keep doing and keep improving. I think, we'll all be, happy with the end result of what this offense could be. And I think we're just scratching the surface on it. I think that we left a lot of plays out there. Like I said, I think there's more aspects of our offense that we want to improve. So I think if we keep going in the right direction, we'll be happy with the product that we put out there.
Last thing I wanted to ask you, how's your social media vacation going? You keeping that up this week?
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. You know how it goes. I stay off it. Try not to look at them. I mean, listen, you treat positive and negative noise the same. It's all from outside sources that, really don't mean anything to me. The only people I care about are my family, friends, my relationship, and, my teammates. So as long as they're good, I'm good. And, we'll keep moving forward.
You try to pass that on to some of the younger guys. I mean, everybody's going to do what they want to do, but you
Right. Yeah. I mean, listen,
be...
I tell those guys I've been in a lot of different situations, a lot of scenarios throughout my career here. So, if they ever need advice on certain things, I'm probably the guy to go to, with all the different things that I've seen and gone through. So everyone handles it differently, and I'll give them my opinion, and they can do what they want with it.
All right, Kenny. Well, thanks again for your time. We'll see what happens this Saturday against New Hampshire, and then we'll talk to you again next week.
Sounds good, Chris. Thanks.